I'm a quantitative person. I was trained quantitatively, and I always ask how big things are. This is something I got from engineers, an engineering roommate I had, and then I worked on an economics project that involved MIT engineers, and they asked how big, how big, how big. So I'm quantitative. But in the 1980s, I started to think more about the humanities, and I finally come, and this took quite a long time. I'm very slow at these things. I finally came to realize that the humanities are about categories. The simple one is good, bad from an ethical point of view, or good, bad from an aesthetic point of view. But it's also the categories of any science. Red giant stars as against white dwarf stars is a categorical exercise. You might say, well, their stars are stars, let's not talk about that. And that would be an original humanistic style of reasoning, such as we get in pure economic theory or in pure mathematics, where we're just looking for on-off categories. But you need that in every scientific enterprise. In order to study Homo sapiens as against Homo neanderthals, you need to know what the difference is qualitatively. So, and then, then at the end, you need an answer to the question, so what? An answer to the question, well, okay. And nu, say the Dutch, and now? That is, there has to be some reason that you're making a distinction between, say, Americans and foreigners for purpose of immigration policy. And then you have to, that's the stage of evaluation. So in between, there's the quantification and the experiments and the observations, but before it, let me be behind the blackboard. Before it, there are the humanities, and after are the humanities. This applies even to statistics. There's a recent movement in statistics to abandon the very foolish mechanical use of tests of statistical significance. And the way to criticize these tests of statistical significance is precisely to note that before you measure, you've got to know what the categories are, and after you measure, you have to decide how big. You have to you have to ask what for. So I think the humanities and the quantitative sciences are inextricably bound up with each other.